Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the book of Daniel. Today we're beginning Daniel chapter 7. Now, the first 6 chapters of Daniel cover some of the narratives of the life of Daniel. How he went to Babylon and how he became advisor to the king Nebuchadnezzar, and how he interpreted dreams for Nebuchadnezzar, and how he was there at the end of the Babylonian Empire of Belshazzar the Lion's Den. All historical narratives. But as we move in chapters 7 through 12, sort of back up and give us the account of a number of visions that Daniel had during his lifetime. And so chapter 7 is the first of those visions. Now notice when it occurred. Chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream, and visions passed through his mind as he was lying in his bed. He wrote down the substance of his dream. Now we've seen Daniel interpreting dreams before. He interpreted 2 dreams of Nebuchadnezzar. He also interpreted the events that occurred in the last night of Belshazzar's life. But now he begins to tell us about dreams that he had. And the first dream he mentions occurs in the first year of Belshazzar, the king of Babylon. Now, the first year of Belshazzar would have been the year 553 BC. That was actually 14 years before the events of chapter 5, the handwriting on the wall. So you see that we've backed up a little bit as Daniel begins to tell us some of these visions he had. So, these years before, in 553 BC, the first year that Belshazzar was king over Babylon, Daniel had a dream. He said it was a vision that passed through his mind as he was lying in his bed. Now, the difference between a dream and a vision is where God shows you something. When a vision occurs while you're sleeping, it's a dream. So Daniel says it's a dream that he had, but in the dream he had this revelation from God, this vision. That's what he says about the dream. Verse 2. In my vision at night I looked, and there before me were the 4 winds of heaven that churned up the great sea. 4 great beasts, each different from the others, came up out of the sea. So Daniel sees a succession of 4 beasts that all arise out of the sea. Now, as we move our way through this vision, we're going to see that each of these beasts represents a kingdom on the earth. Daniel's going to see a vision of 4 beasts, that is, 4 different kingdoms that will come up on the stage of the earth. And then after the 4th kingdom will be established the kingdom of God. Now you immediately see that this is in parallel to a vision and a dream that King Nebuchadnezzar had many years before that we read about in chapter 2. Remember back in chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. Now he saw a great statue made of 4 different kinds of elements. Remember there was the head of gold and the chest of silver and the belly of bronze and then the legs of iron. And Daniel interpreted that dream for Nebuchadnezzar that it was 4 successive kingdoms to come upon the world. And then in Nebuchadnezzar's dream, a rock cut out from the mountain destroyed the earthly kingdoms and established the kingdom of God. Now, in Daniel's dream, by the way, Daniel's dream occurred about 50 years after Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Nebuchadnezzar's dream occurred probably around 600 BC, somewhere in that time frame. And now Daniel's dream occurs in 553 BC, so almost half a century or more has passed. But Daniel has a dream that's so similar to that of Nebuchadnezzar. 4 kingdoms to come upon the world, 4 earthly empires, followed by the establishment of the kingdom of God. Now the fact that this vision presents itself twice, first to Nebuchadnezzar 50 years before, and then to Daniel, and the fact that though they're slightly different, they convey the same message of 4 earthly kingdoms followed by the kingdom of God, lets us know that this vision of the coming earthly kingdoms and of the coming of the eternal kingdom of God, this is the center of the book. Central message of Daniel, God is in control of world history. His kingdom will be established. his kingdom is the eternal kingdom. So the entirety of the book of Daniel revolves around these two visions of the kingdoms in chapter 2 and in chapter 7. Now, after we finish chapter 7 and we read 8 through 12, there are going to be other visions that Daniel has, but they all relate to the vision of the four kingdoms. In other words, the vision of the four kingdoms is sort of a panoramic look at world history. Look at the big picture. And then the other visions Daniel has will be parts of that vision, particular aspects of what will occur during the four kingdoms, particular aspects of how the kingdom of God will be established. But this vision of the four successive kingdoms is the center of the book. There may be world empires that come and go. God is in control of world history, and he will establish his kingdom that will endure forever. That is the central message of the book of Daniel. Now, tomorrow we'll look in some detail at these four beasts that Daniel saw and how he understood them and what they represent in world history. But we'll look at that in our next 5-minute Bible study in the book of Daniel. Hope you'll join us.